Welcome to the Real Estate Tech Show, where two of the nation's top experts on real estate share with you their favorite tech tools, tips, and tricks to help you explode your real estate business in productivity and profits. So get strapped in, because Cory and Joe are about to lead you behind the curtain of the most relevant and effective real estate investing tools and strategies on the planet, starting right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Real Estate Tech Show. I'm Joe McCall and I'm with the one and only Cory. How are you, man?
What's up, Joe?
Not much. We're having this is a tech show and we were having tech problems before starting, but that's okay because that's what makes life fun in business, and we love technology, and that's what the show's all about. So this is episode 2 of the Real Estate Tech Show, and we want to let you guys know that Cory and I put together a toolkit of our top 10 favorite technology tools for the real estate business, whether you're a realtor or an investor, doesn't matter. And you can get that for free at reitechshow.com, reitechshow.com, or you can text the word tech to 38470. Text the word tech, T-E-C-H, to 38470. And so this is our second episode, and Cory, I'm looking forward to this episode because I'm going to be interviewing you. Last episode, you interviewed me. We talked a little bit about myself, and today we want to learn more about the one and only Cory Boatright. It's funny, yesterday, Cory, I was playing around on YouTube for some reason, and I found an old video from you, and I went to your channel, and I looked at all your videos, and now you can sort the videos by date.
Right.
And have you ever looked at some of your old videos from 9-10 years ago?
A long time ago, man.
It's funny, but one of the cool things I was thinking about is you were one of the really early adopters of technology from the real estate investing space. The real estate investing world is not a very big world. It's kind of a small little world. And I remember very early on, you really embracing technology and really kind of being on the leading edge. And you always have been. That's one of the reasons why I love doing the show with you and why I think it's going to be such a great idea, because we're both tech nerds and we both love real estate. And you were, though, at the beginning, this must have 9 years ago, that was 2007, 2008, right?
Right.
You were doing things that not very many people were doing at the time. So, Cory, why don't you introduce us to yourself? You live in Oklahoma, but talk a little bit about where you're from, and what got you into real estate first before the technology side of things.
Sure. So, Cory Boatright, thanks again for doing this interview. I think it'll be fun. I do live in Oklahoma right now. I've born and raised here in a little small town called Weatherford. I really didn't embrace real estate in a way where it was, something I thought I could do full time until, many years into just dabbling around and playing with it as a hobby. And it wasn't until really, I started to understand this concept of wholesaling and assigning deals where, you didn't have to have any of your own money, to be able to do those deals. That really changed the game.
What year was that?
Gosh, that was probably back in 2007, 2006. So probably 2006, 2005, 2006. Right after that crash happened, I really started to understand that there was an opportunity in real estate, because when blood's in the street, right, there's somebody, making some kind of opportunity from it. My mentor used to tell me that whenever you have a headache, it sucks for you, but fantastic for Tylenol. So, approaching things with, whenever there's some issue going on, if you can figure out the solution to it, then you can profit and do well from it. And I started out as a wholesaler, and as a bird dogger, really. And then I moved into wholesaling, Joe. And then from there, I started to look at what these wholesalers were doing. They were selling them to these rehabbers. So I thought these rehabbers were making all the money. And so I created a little skeleton rehab crew. And that was one of the worst kind of years of my life that I did that. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy working with GCs. I didn't have the fulfillment of after the property was done and it was pretty to sell it and to make more money. There just was nothing a part of that I really enjoyed. So I went back to wholesaling, and this was about 2000, I would say probably about 2007, maybe 2008, like you said, 2007. And I stumbled across my first short sale deal. And Joe, this was actually about the time that you and I met as well. So what year was that when you and I met?
I think it was 2011. So you're still talking a couple years before that.
So it's a couple years before. So I started to understand about this opportunity for short sales because people were paying more for their properties. They couldn't afford them. And at the time, there was nobody teaching really that I knew of about short sales. So at least in Oklahoma. So I became kind of the Oklahoma short sale guy. At the time, my wife, she became an agent, and she basically created a way where we could get continuing education credits for agents working with us to do deals. We started to talk with our title company about ways that we could actually put on quote little mini seminars to teach folks on how to do these short sale deals, so those deals could come back to the title company. And I'm telling you, we started to blow up this short sale market here in Oklahoma. It got to a place where people were asking me to go lunch, and then it got to a little bigger lunches at a Golden Corral, and it got too big there. And then we started doing these like little mini meetup groups. Of course, meetup wasn't born then. And then after a while, I did kind of my first bigger event, and it just kind of took off from there. During this time, I was on this site called Easy HUD, which I believe Sean McCloskey, which is a good friend of both of ours, he was either on that or he was on Flipping Homes, one of those with Steve Cook. And Chris Daigle owned that site back then. And there was many people posting questions about short sales from all over the country. And I was just really stepping into the short sale arena in a big way. I started answering all these questions. I remember one night just getting on there and answering hundreds of short sale questions. And in the morning I woke up, I got all these responses, and I kept responding. So over a period of the next year, I basically became kind of their short sale guy for Easy HUD. Then Chris Daigle actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a course?" And I thought, wow, a course? You mean like something on an infomercial or something like that? And he said, yeah, you got to do a course. This way you could just do one course and you could get it out to all these different people, and then you wouldn't have to respond and, 2:00 in the morning still responding to people's questions. And this was something really foreign to me, believe it or not. I was just like, I'm doing deals. I'm not just writing a course. I just thought in my mind that if I did this course, that it put me in a kind of different way that I looked at myself, or I didn't want to see myself. I was kind of like the reluctant info entrepreneur, right? The info marketer. But I did create this course. He pushed me harder and harder and said, hey, if you create this course, I'll sell it. I'll put it out to my list of people that he had, and then we'll split the profits 50-50. I thought, wow, this is something interesting. He said, I don't think you really understand. You should sell this course for $1,500, and we'll sell a ton of these things on a webinar. Now this was 10 years ago. So nobody was really doing a lot of webinars back then, Joe. And I created this course. We did the webinar. We sold like 40 or 50 of those things on that webinar.
Do you remember what you priced it at?
$1,500. It was $1,497. Okay. Those days, that price point was pretty on point. There's just now other people starting to come out with their courses. So it was right in line with that, $2,000 to $1,500 to $1,000. And short sales was a hot thing. So it added that element of it too. So we got quite a few. I think we got a little over 600 people online. So it was a pretty good conversion, as you and I know about the conversion rates now in webinars. That was a pretty good conversion. And it just changed my view of, wow, you can do this technology. You can use webinars. You can use what you learn, your expertise on something, and you can package it and sell it to people. and actually make money from that. And that was something that was interesting, because before then I was just doing the real estate part of it. I was just doing all the deals, and I got more involved in this because right about this time, one of my good friends sold his internet business for $7 million. And it really changed my view on the power of using the internet and using webinars and using technology with the power of real estate investing. There was really not anybody doing that back then. So there was this seminar called Virtual Investing Seminar that Chris Chico, another one of our good friends, and quote, my nemesis and some things that we talk about between Mac and PC. I'm a Mac guy. Chris is a PC guy. But Chris is a super smart guy, and we go back and forth and rib each other. But he's a great guy, super smart. And he was also working with Daigle back then at the Virtual Investing Seminar. And there was Virtual Investing Seminar 1 and Virtual Investing Seminar 2. And after that, I didn't attend. I don't think there was a third one. But through that process, I started to see other people around the country, right? I was just one guy in Oklahoma. I started to see these other people around the country, and they were coming together. And, do you have a CD? Is that what, do you have the Virtual Investing Seminar CD? That's awesome. That's great. So if you're just listening right now, Joe just grabbed his DVD or CD of the actual event, and it says Chris Daigle on the top of it.
Can you see it?
I can see it. Yep. Chris Chico in the back. So concept,
hold on. On the front, there's Chris Chico, Gary Boomershine, Chris Daigle.
Yeah, Gary.
Mike Collins. You remember Mike Collins?
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing these days?
Yeah, he was in Florida at that time. Yep.
Dan Stevadnovic, I don't know.
Yeah.
Michelle Spalding.
Yep.
Sam Bell, of course, and Justin Tupper. I recognize most of those guys.
Yeah, Justin went on to do millions and millions, massively successful. Sam went on to do millions and millions of dollars, massively successful. So many people in the Virtual Investing Seminar days really cut their teeth on presenting, on using technology with real estate. And so essentially the context of this conversation is virtually investing, doing real estate from not just in your home, your where you live, but doing it in other states and being able to do it successfully.
Yeah.
Also using technology to be able to leverage all of your assets. So if you had expertise in something, you could use technology to create a course and teach someone about it. And so that was some of the birth of where that all happened. So that was great. And from there, I just kept going on. I kept focusing on short sales. I created a short sale software with a partner of mine, Tracy. And what happened was we got up to over 5,000 users on that software. It's called Short Sale Builder. It was right about the time when Greg Clement, a really good friend of mine, but a competitor, obviously at that time, had something called Strategic Real Estate Coach with Josh Cantwell when they were working together.
Yeah,
and they came out with a software and called RealFlow at the time. I don't know if they've changed the name several times, but they were coming out with a software too. And one of the things that were different about our software is that we had a short sale builder in it where you could hit a button and build the short sale package like that, like super fast.
Really?
And it cut down so much time. And that's why it became such a big deal. Well, the programmer that helped build that out, I didn't know him. He was part of my, with my partner, he knew him. And so we didn't have any kind of proprietary, we didn't have any kind of protection against that builder, that process, that technology patent. We didn't have anything like that. We were just building this thing and we were using it for our own business. And then I just happened to know more people through that virtual investing seminar that opened up other doors where I got a chance to go and talk to people, typically about short sales, and they bring me to their event and I would talk about it. I'd sell my course, which was called Short Sale Fundamentals. So anyway, long story longer, I ended up selling over 2,500 short sale fundamental courses between $1,500 and $800. We got up to 5,000 users on that short sale builder software. About 2,000 of them were not paying. So at the height of short sale builder, we had 3,000 paying members between, they were paying $97 a month And I would say probably at least a quarter of them paid a setup fee of $2,000 when we started, a $2,000 setup fee. Nowadays, you don't really have those setup fees, but at that time, that's what we were charging. And that was a journey. I don't want to go into all the details with that, but we ended up selling. My partner and I split up. We ended up selling that account out to one of our competitors, and basically doing away with that business. And then short sales, I continued on doing short sales, but what was happening was the government was really hammering down on people that were doing short sales the incorrect way. They were getting bad appraisals. They were just botching up the process. They were just doing illegal things. And so anybody that's in the short sale kind of world got thrown into this bucket of, you had to dot your I's, cross your T's. And even if you did that, they were putting this red tape on you. So if you went to flip, quote, your deal, double close your deal, you had to sign a lot of documents that basically was almost inevitable that you were creating some kind of perjury. You're some kind of process there that you were going to get in trouble with. So for me, even though you continue to do it and you can still do fine, you're probably not going to get, no one's going to hurt you with it. I decided to make a decision in 2000, I think it was in 2012, that I was not going to do short sales any longer. I think it's actually in the end of 2011. I was not going to do short sales I'm so sorry, into 2012. I was not going to do short sales any longer. And the reason is because it was just getting harder to do the deal. So we had 40, 50 deals in the hopper, Joe. And I mean, sometimes we had buyers ready to go and we couldn't close on them. Right. And it was frustrating. It's not a way you run a business. And I had a loss mitigation company, Joe, that I paid a lady that was a former senior loss mitigation specialist for a bank. She was doing all our deals. And so we were not only doing my own deals, we were doing deals for students around the country. We had a partnership program, all this. We shut all of it down and just went to focusing on wholesaling. And the reason is, and I still do wholesaling today. We still do close to 100 deals here in Oklahoma a year, which is awesome. I have a partner, basically a company, and I have my own company that we focus on. So we have two companies. And essentially why I went to wholesaling is because it's still today the fastest way to get a paycheck with the least amount of brain surgery. I mean, the least of brain damage, right? There are so many other ways you can make money in this business, but wholesaling, especially for the people that, statistically right now, a lot of people listening to us haven't even done their first wholesale deal, right? Over 90% of them haven't even done their first wholesale deal statistically. So the 90% right now, they also get focused on all these other things, right? And they don't make any money with it. And then they get frustrated, then they quit, right? So wholesaling is the fastest way in the beginning, I think, to start doing deals, getting money, and getting some traction. So that's what we're doing today in our business. That's been great. I have my own portfolio of properties now that I also buy, and I maybe a couple a year, not many, and I hold on to. I have a lot of mobile homes, believe it or not. They're cash cows.
Do you really? In Oklahoma?
Yep, in Oklahoma, and those things are cash cows. And and then I also have my coaching business, and probably the coaching business, just like you have a coaching business, it's probably one of the most fulfilling aspects of doing the business, because now I can do wholesaling in my sleep now, right? I mean, we've done it so many times that it's just, there's only so many new ways of different things you can do until you just basically have spent what they call the 10,000 hours to really understand it, in detail.
Right.
And now it's like you get a chance to talk to other folks that are wanting to learn wholesaling, and it's so fulfilling because they do their first deal and you have that part of you that feels like you did your first deal, and it's so thrilling. So I just partnered on a deal with a student the other day, and we've been working on it for a couple months together, and we're just nervous about it. They'd never done it before. They were nervous. And so their total profit was like $4,000, and my half
was half of that. But the fact is that this is just one of many deals, right? And that's why I love coaching so much, is because they just needed a little help, right? And it's like you're pushing them out of the nest, and now they're doing it on their own. And he is so excited. He doesn't splitting the profit with me, even though it was a small deal, was like nothing to him, because now he knows how to do these deals.
Right.
And that's the thing that's awesome about coaching. And we were able to do this virtually because of technology halfway across the country. Anyway,
that's what's awesome, right? Is now you're able to utilize all these tools, right, from technology, and you can leverage all the things that used to take hours and hours to do. Now you can go to a property, you can take a picture of, you can scan your contract and send it. It could be at the title company before the time you get back to your office, before you get back to your house, right? There's tools that you can use that you can quickly create templates and create canned responses, right, to save a ton of time on things. You can hit a button now and send out offers. There's so many different ways that you can leverage your investing career. And even if you're just part-time, not even full-time. So, I'm excited about doing the podcast because we get a chance to not only use these tools, right, in our everyday business, but we get a chance to talk about them. And we already do it anyway. We're already Skyping each other and texting each other. And, oh man, did you check out this thing? But here's something I heard recently that changed. It really gave me a great perspective. And I think it's perfect for what we're doing here. And it's this: you need to be basically in a state of constant beta. Now, here's why that's exciting, because if you're at a place where you feel like you've just arrived and you learned everything, right, then you're going to stop learning. But as an entrepreneur and as a real estate investor, especially one that is excited about technology, you have to be okay with the fact that you're in constant beta. You're in constant beta. You're going to be constantly testing things, learning things, doing things. And by the way, it's not going to stay the same. Even if you want it to, even if you don't agree with that statement and have an issue with it, I apologize if you have an issue with it personally, but guess what? It doesn't change the fact that that's the way it is. And technology is not going to get any less in our world. It is going to get much, much more, I might say the word crazy, with virtual investing, with AI tools right now, with bots basically taking over. You're getting ready to see in the next 5 years a change of how we are fundamentally communicating with one another on the phone, on the computer, on text messages. And all of a sudden you're going to have an avatar that is somebody that you use, that you can dress up and do however you want. You can be whoever you want to be. It's a little scary on one side, Joe, because, a part of it kind of jacks with your values, jacks with what you believe in. It starts to jack with that a little bit. On the other side, it's really exciting because of the potential of how you can communicate now with someone, how you can help more people, how you can serve more people, how you can create new tools to be able to get things done in an economy of scale. So I'm excited about the show because we get a chance to talk about those things, and we're actually using these tools and they work. And we're going to bring on We're going to bring on some founders of some of these companies. How cool is that, man? I mean, to build those relationships, and that's great.
I want to ask you some other questions, Cory. You've built software. You've built apps. Talk a little bit about some of that experience you've had with building software and mobile phone apps, right?
Sure. So one product we have right now that is completely free to the public right now, it's in beta as well. It's called House Price Robot. And essentially it's the, Trivago of real estate comps. One of the things that students do if they don't have access to MLS, they don't work with an agent, they're not an agent themselves, they want to go on to the internet and find these different values. Well, you can go on to Zillow, you can go on to Property Shark, you can go on to you can go on these different places. But wouldn't it be nice just to have one site that you can go to and you could see all these different prices from these different services, and you could create the average of those, because each one of those are a little bit off. Maybe $1,000 here on Property Shark compared to Realtor.com. Maybe this, for Zillow. And so what we did is we created, and again, it's still in beta, but certainly go and you can do one search on there, and then it asks you to create a user profile. But what we want to do, the desirability of this, is to get this out to the masses. Our desire is to have 1,000 users a day. We just passed 1,200 users, I think 3 days ago. So
say that again. How?
We want to get 1,000 users a day, and we just passed 1,200 users 3 days ago.
Okay, you were breaking up just for a second. How many? I know you said it twice. How many users a day are you getting?
Right now, on average, we're getting about 5 to 7. 5 to 7.
Okay, all right, good, cool.
Yeah, it's not that good, but I mean, it's good because I have a desire to make it much bigger, and we want essentially for me, the exciting part is, Joe, is the data. I want to see where people are searching. I want to see, the different, how long they're on the site, where they're clicking on the site. I want to make the site better. I want to see what they're sharing, what they're using on the site. So the data part of it's really exciting to me. Also, when you create that profile, we ask you if you're an investor, if you're a real estate agent, or you're both. Do you have a brokerage or not? I love having all that data because I have so many different connections. So do you. That we can help so many people. That as long as we know kind of what they need and where they are and where they most like. So the people that like hamburgers, right? They're going to probably be very, very interested in, a coupon from McDonald's per se. I know that some people just probably turned off the podcast now if I said that, but you know what I'm talking about. Just hang with me. You can find these different pockets and niches with data. And I'm excited about that. One of our good friends, also Chris Richter, he kind of also, is an inspiration to me. I just talked to him yesterday. He is a data scientist. He essentially takes data and finds ways that you can break it down into these individual data points. By the way, Facebook is nothing more than just a data compository, and you are the product. So we are the product, and we're getting all these different data points from us. Yeah. Whenever someone asks you to log in through Facebook, now if you do that, now they see everything else of what you might do that you might like, where you're clicking, the different things that are in your feed. If you click on a shoe, you might see another company that says a new shoe that just come out. You're seeing retargeting. You're seeing all these new concepts. Like if you go to Amazon and you click on a knife on Amazon, you might see that knife pull up somewhere for retargeting. As you know, Joe, that these things are being. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The next level is bots. Okay, the next level is bots, where you're going to essentially say, hey, if you're interested in this, just type in interested. If you like this house that I have here for a great deal, go ahead and type in the address and I'll send you details about it. And once you do that, it triggers these responses. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that this level of automation with technology is really going to go to the next level, and I'm excited about it.
Did you have a mobile app company at one time?
I did. Yeah, we had a mobile app company. We did over 300 mobile apps in 1 year, which is pretty incredible. And the reason we did that is I came to a company that already had several hundred of those. They had over 200 of them. And then I helped them create the other 100 essentially. They didn't have any marketing behind them at all. So we essentially went and found different people that would want to do apps, and I created some marketing campaigns for them. And I got pretty heavy involved in, I did my own mobile apps called I Talk Fast. We had over 200,000 of that was my app of downloads on that particular app.
What did that do?
Essentially, it allowed you to listen to something at twice the speed. So now, and up to 3 times the speed. And the concept is that we're learning, we're getting hit by more and more things every day. So how do you learn faster? And so if you do some research, you can see there's a Harvard study that came out that said if you increase by listening to something at 1.5 to 2 speeds quicker than it actually is, like a book, right? Then you can increase your IQ basis point by 1 point. You can increase your IQ base by 1 point because your mind and your brain thinks and can process about 400 to 450 words a minute. But on average, someone speaks about 150 to 200, maybe 250 words a minute. So even as I'm talking right now, you might be thinking about where I need to be, the lunch, everything else is going on, who I need to pick up, what's going to happen on, because as you're talking, you're also thinking about something else. But if I keep talking like this, you'd have to really pay attention to what I'm saying, right? So if I talk like that fast, then you have to pay attention, and it actually makes you remember it more. So I talk fast, and I wanted to be able to just use the app for any book that you wanted to download and listen to. So try to listen to a regular book, regular speed, you could speed it up. Then what happened was Apple came out with their own native version of speeding up the audio, and a lot of podcast companies came up with it too. And so basically, I was lost in the
sure.
But it was pretty fun, and I came out there in the beginning. We got a lot of press releases. So if you go on Google and type in "I Talk Fast Cory Boatright," you'll see a bunch of press releases that came out. It was kind of cool.
Did you make any money with that app?
Yeah, we made some money with it as well. Yep, we did. We charged 99 cents on that app, and we made a little bit of money on it. Wasn't anything to really brag about, but it was a fun endeavor. I got real excited because I thought that was where a lot of things were moving. And then I realized later on that the apps that really, if you do it to monetize the apps, the ones that really make a lot of money are game apps. And I just didn't have a desire. I don't have the passion to create, to really monetize a game app. We created some games, but I just didn't have that passion to go all in, like Trey, Frank's cousin.
Is that really Frank's cousin?
Yeah, I believe so.
Huh.
Yeah, I believe it is.
So do you have on your radar any new software that you want to create or websites that you want to create?
I think I just want to get more dialed in on House Price Robot. I think that has a lot of potential to be, the next Property Shark, but better, I really like the concepts of having multiple different sites that you can pull their values from. And by the way, it's completely free. It's completely free.
Is that hard to do? Is that hard to do, by the way, to get values from different websites and put them into yours?
I have a pretty good tech team that we also pay for different providers, different data sources, different APIs, all this different stuff. And it is, it's not as easy as you would think it sounds, but it is. It's pretty involved, because what happens is now when you pull the data, you're also creating your own average. So House Price Robot has its own value now, which is what I'm excited about, because that's essentially the average of these other sites, right? So that's a value now where we could add that. Let's say, for example, in Podio, right? Let's say we have an application for, a good friend of ours, Investor Fuse. Maybe we say, hey, how would you like to have use our API for House Price Robot in Investor Fuse? Well, then all of a sudden you got users that, now have a House Price Robot value. So they don't have to go to all these other sites that kind of pull in already from free sites. They can have a, their multiple averages. And the other thing too is you can uncheck each one of those, so you can change the price based on which one you want to use. So,
but because sometimes I've seen other sites and yours once in a while, they'll have a lot of the fields have values in them, but some fields won't have values in them. Why do there's something I've always been curious of. Why do some values have no values available? Is it because it's because Zillow or ePraisal or whoever is not willing to give it away, or is it just taking too long to get that stuff? Does that make sense?
It's a couple of different things. One is if it's exactly typed in the way that they have it on their site, have it set up on their site. So we have a recommendation search now that if you typed in something that was the way you thought it should be, but you click on the actual recommendation, the recommendation address is the one that's going to give you the best chance of actually pulling in the value. The other thing is because we don't own each one of those portals, right? We're actually paying a fee to have either an API relationship or whatever. Then we're at the mercy of that company providing that data. So if there's a database issue, if there's anything else, if there's a server issue, it's just going to say they're not available, or it'll spin until, you can see whether or not it's going to pop up or not.
All right. So if money wasn't an object and you
Sure.
could just wave your magic wand and create any kind of technology or software or a website that you wanted, what are some of the things you would want to create?
If money was no object and I could
And you
just
could and you wave your wand and it would happen like that.
Well, I think what's interesting right now is there's this kind of concept that I've always thought was just genius that Google has done. And it's just one search box. And I think that we try to figure out everything for someone to make it, quote, easier on them. But if you look what Google's done, Google has one of the most trafficked sites in the world. And it's one search box. When you go to Google, it's one box. So I've always thought that simplicity has a lot of power to it. Yeah. So it would be interesting if, let's say that you wanted to sell your property, you wanted to, get a value in a property or something like that. How cool would it be to kind of go to Google, let's just use that as an example, and you just type in your address and you just hit show me, just for example. And all of a sudden you got, all these different people that basically give you a ballpark figure of what you can get for your property right then and there. I mean, just shows a price. Just like lending tree does, right? Yeah. Where you can show what your potential rate could be, your potential value, right? So I always thought it'd be kind of cool to see what your kind of potential would be based on, whatever that quote market, we call it the market value, right? For rehabbers, what they're willing to pay. And then how cool it'd be if you owned it on the other side of it, of a way that you're working in with the rehabbers in that state. By the way, I think it'd be pretty cool to walk them through a process. So if they go to Google, they type in the address, the next thing says, which I guess it could automatically populate. It could say, okay, Oklahoma, if it's in Oklahoma, then it could show the county where that property is and the city. And then it could say, based on that criteria, here are 5 different guys that are companies that are willing to buy your house right now for this price, right? Potential ballpark price before they even see it, just to get into the raising your hand to show if you're interested or not. So then you click on one to show you're interested. And then how great a value is that to the person that you're working with on the site? Right. So I just think it'd be cool to kind of create a network like that. I don't know of sites that really have done that yet. Do you?
No, I've heard of other people talking about it as well. That's interesting. It's fascinating to think about. Cory, we're coming up to the end of our time here.
Sure.
What do you see in the next couple years because when I think technology and websites and real estate, I think Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Where do you see, I don't know why I just thought of this, but those 3 or 4 sites, and Trulia now is owned by Zillow, right? Where do you see the future of the big real estate tech companies that are out there vying for everybody's attention? Realtor.com, Zillow, the Redfins, I don't know, Trulia maybe plays a part in that.
Right.
Homes.com. So what do you see like it condensing and consolidating, or do you see more options becoming available to people? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you have companies like Open Door, right? That are basically a venture. It's a VC backed company. that is actually, I think one of them maybe went public recently. I have to look at that, but there's an opportunity right now where technology is integrating with real estate, where it's doing its best to cut out an agent, a real estate agent, right? Where you can just get online, type in your address, it goes through, it gives you some parameters, and then it says, based on what you're saying here, here's about what we can offer you. Do you want us to come out and look at it? But here's the interesting thing about a company like that, let's just say, is, and this is just, I don't know their processes. I just, I know the concept. Then you're getting to a place where more homeowners have options where they can just get online and they don't even have to talk to anybody. And all of a sudden someone come to their house, look at it, make an offer on it. What type of homeowner is going to do that? Right? That's one of the first questions. Is you're going to see these different niches you already see it now. You're seeing these different niches pop up of, you don't have to have everybody go on there, right? But even if you just got 1% or 2% of the entire real estate market, then your company would be massively successful. And so the concepts of some of these technology centered and focused companies where they're integrating with real estate, they're integrating with all these different industries, but particularly real estate, is that they're just looking to own a small percentage of the entire market. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah.
So to where it's going in the future is text is boring right now. Words are becoming boring. They're not entertaining anymore. It takes effort to actually read a book now, right? And as much as you might argue and say, well, yeah, I still get the enjoyment. I like to hold the book in my hand and all that other stuff. I'm not apologizing for the nostalgia of it. It's cool. But the reality is that where we're going in the future is all about engagement. This word engagement is going to be the single biggest word that you're going to see these companies going after. That's going to be the biggest KPI for them. They have to see where is the engagement. And with virtual investing or AI companies, you've got these virtual reality companies. You got these bots coming out, Joe. I believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to essentially put on a pair of goggles and be able to go into Google Maps, go into the Street View, go to the property, click on a button to see if anybody's quote home. If they are, they'll pick up the phone. You can see them. Their avatar can talk with you. You can hit a button. You can where it's going, it's pretty incredible. So why is that important right now? Well, it's important right now because just understanding the concept of what you can do and leveraging technology is the most important step. If you can understand that just getting away from, here's the reality. 50% of the people listening right now statistically still use pen and paper for 90% of their stuff. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of pen and paper as much anymore. We still have to use it, but it's moving to a place now where pen and paper is not even going to be, it's going to be like a cassette tape. It's going to be like a VCR tape. And whether or not you accept that it's up to you, but that's where we're going. So as a real estate investor right now, and you're asking yourself, well, how does this affect me and how does this affect my market? What can I do? Well, the first thing I think you need to do is just stay aware. Just stay aware of what's going on with the technology, what's going on with the business. It doesn't mean that you have to all of a sudden start investing all this time and money into all these new technology gadgets. It just means to be aware of what you can do with technology and having the leverage to be able to get, and if you're doing 10 deals a year, you can do 20 deals a year by maybe using 1 or 2 tools. If you're still writing stuff down and you're having a hard time finding it, you can get it to a database that sends you a text message whenever a deal comes. I mean, you can do all these different things. You're not using Podio. It's easy to set up a Podio. I think just understanding, wow, I was going over here and not using technology, and now I can see the power of technology. And technology is good. It's not evil. It's a tool. Yep. So removing that from your mind that it's a bad thing, it's just a tool. And the way that you use it, it can either take advantage of you or you can take advantage of it.
Good. I love it. Hey, listen, guys, retechshow.com or reitechshow.com, depending on how many keys you like to click. We have both of those domains. And you can get our toolkit, if you text the word tech, to 38470. Cory, this has been really good. Sure appreciate it. And the next couple episodes, guys, we're each going to take turns sharing with you guys our favorite tools that we use in technology.
I love it.
So we're going to be talking about it, maybe even getting online and showing you what it is that we like about it. We're limiting ourselves to 5 each, which I don't know how we're going to do that, Cory.
It's going to be impossible.
Right. But we'll make it happen. Very cool. Hey, Cory, real quick, if people want to get some more information about you, you have some other websites. How can they get a hold of you?
Sure. The fastest way is just go to CoryBoatright.com, CoryBoatright. And then we have a podcast that's continuing to grow, just like yours, Joe, and it's called Real Estate Investing Profits Master.com. So if you just go to REI Profit Masters, it just takes you right to the iTunes store where you can subscribe, and love to connect with you there. By the way, if you do listen, I'd love for you to have a review on there. Those reviews help so much. People are visual, and so they see that. If they see you wrote something positive, then they're most likely to subscribe to it and check it out.
Yeah. Leave us a review too if you like this show.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right, good. Thanks, Cory. Have a good one, man.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Tech Show with Cory and Joe. Make sure you download Cory and Joe's toolkit by going to realestatetechshow.com or texting the word tech to 38470. And don't forget to leave a review of this podcast on iTunes or Google Play and share it with your friends on your favorite social media platforms. We appreciate you listening.